In Star Trek III, our commitment to friendship compelled us to find a way to bring Spock back. Because the good of the one sometimes outweighs the good of the many.
My father says that you have been my friend. You came back for me.
Yes, Spock.
Jim. Your name is Jim.
Yes. One of the issues Star Trek addressed during the 60s was the Cold War, with the Klingons representing the Soviet threat. Only the Klingons couldn't make vodka. As far back as 1967, Star Trek predicted we would have to make peace in order to survive.
You have no right to dictate to our Federation or our Empire how to handle their interstellar relations. We have the right
to wage war, Captain, to kill millions of innocent people, to destroy life on a planetary scale. Is that what you're defending? Oh, eventually you will have peace, but only after millions of people have died. It is true that in the future, you and the Klingons will become fast friends. You will work together.
never.
Star Trek VI was literally torn from the headlines of the crumbling of the Berlin Wall, the breakdown of the Cold War, and are being forced to make some kind of peace, a rapprochement.
2 months ago, a Federation starship monitored an explosion on the Klingon moon, Praxis. They will have depleted their supply of oxygen in approximately 50 Earth years. At the behest of the Vulcan ambassador, I opened a dialogue with Gorkin, Chancellor of the Klingon High Council.
You, Captain Kirk, are to be our first olive branch.
They are dying.
Let them die.
And then to discover that the enemy isn't always out there, that sometimes we may find it within ourselves as well.
You said it yourself, it was logical. Peace is worth a few personal risks. You're a great one for logic. I'm a great one for rushing in where angels fear to tread. We're both extremists. Reality is probably somewhere in between. I couldn't get past the death of my son. Gorkin had to die before I understood how prejudiced I was.
Is it possible that we two, you and I, have grown so old and so inflexible that we have outlived our usefulness?
Kirk finally realized that a Cold Warrior's greatest challenge was not only to make peace with his enemies, but also with himself. Some people think the future means the end of history. Well, we haven't run out of history quite yet. Your father called the future the undiscovered country. People can be very frightened of change.
You've restored my father's faith.
And you've restored my son's. It seems funny now that this struggling television series' unhappy ending has been transformed into the opening chapter of a far bigger tale, an astonishing tale that is unsurpassed in the history of entertainment. Nothing is more certain than the fact that Star Trek's mission has just begun. The journeys of the Enterprise continue in Star Trek Generations. Captain of the Enterprise.
That's right.
Let me tell you something. Don't let them promote you. Don't let them transfer you. Don't let them do anything that takes you off the bridge of that ship, because while you're there, you can make a difference.
Come back with me. Help me stop Solomon. Make a difference again.
Who am I to argue with the captain of the Enterprise? I take it the odds are against us and the situation is grim.
You could say that.
You know, if Spock were here, he'd say that I was an irrational, illogical human being for taking on a mission like that.
Sounds like fun.
My final log entry as captain of the Enterprise, when we return.